Welcome to Let's Talk Health, powered by VitifyHealth. I'm your host, Miles Wingfield, and today we're joined by an innovative leader in clinical research whose career spans business development, medical writing, and global trial operations. He has led growth at Smooth Drug Development, a next-generation ECRO working across Europe and Asia, and previously supported organizations like Orsa Trials and Cross Global in expanding access and delivering high-quality clinical studies. Beyond these roles, he has contributed as an Elsevier reviewer and earned recognition through more than 350 international certifications, reflecting his commitment to advancing research and strengthening collaborations across the ecosystem. And with that, please welcome Dr. Kamran Khan. Cameron, how are you doing today?
Yeah, it's great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I appreciate you coming on, and I like to get straight into it. So, my first question is, what really initially drew you into clinical research, and how did your journey evolve from pharmacy into business development and then global CRO leadership?
Yeah, actually, during my PharmD, I started from after the graduation from Punjab University College of Pharmacy, which is one of the reputable pharmacy institute in Pakistan. So my clinical pharmacy subject is very strong. I want to know the case studies of the different subjects and the patients and how we resolve what should be the best treatment options. But when we go through to the market after the graduation, I joined Martin Marker, a national pharmaceutical company, as a sales and marketing. So I do the job for 2 years to promote cardiovascular product and diabetes related products. So during these, I face a lot of the patients with a lot of disease burden, and during this tenure, I work a very strong in sales and marketing department, but after the discussion with the different KOLs, the key opinion leaders, mainly the different doctors who were treating different disease areas. So I try to use different certification, different courses and upgrade knowledge so that I can satisfy and the doctor about the new indications, new treatment therapies. So my my learning go more appropriately, and I advancing my knowledge. So in that way, I come to know that there are a number of phases of trials. So then I switch from sales into the marketing department, and then from marketing to the medical affairs. And then I joined a clinical research CRO, which is OC Trials, where I started as a business development executive and then manager. And from here, my clinical research journey starts. So in during my tenure at OC Trials, I approached the different clients for Pakistan, UK, and Singapore. And during my tenure, I also joined as a consultant role as a business development manager, as a global business development manager in a cross global alliance. This is an alliance of 18 different CROs. They operate more than in 90 countries. So I oversee the
Mm,
business operation of these 90 countries. So
wow.
this is the turning point of my career, where I understand different CROs, there are different regulatory bodies and the different checklists and their requirements, different challenges for the subjects enrollment and all the stuff. So I grab this experience within a short span of the time. I bring a lot of sponsors on board, and we started different studies in the different countries. And I know come to know that the different biotech companies from small to medium and then very large biotech companies and their studies, and they have a different kind of challenges that every CRO need to fulfill in a different way. So I have a different solutions for the different problems.
Mm,
Then I joined Smooth Drug Development, ECRO. It's a very good and a big CRO having more than 150 employees. They mainly cover Asia region and then Eastern Europe region. So this is a very different environment in this company as well, and they give me a different international opportunities. I go to the different conferences in the US, in Singapore, in Malaysia, China, in the UK and Europe region. So in these region, I met with the different key stakeholder of clinical research stakeholders. And then this international exposure bring more knowledge for clinical research and what things we need to do in the different countries and the different regions.
yeah, that makes
So,
sense. And you
yeah.
and you mentioned, again, you have this global perspective. You've worked in so many different countries, Singapore, Pakistan, United States, and the list goes on and on. And obviously, my company, Vitify Health, what we do is we use AI to automate a lot of the patient matching to speed up and make this patient recruitment a lot more seamless, make it move a lot faster. So, and patient recruitment is obviously one of the toughest challenges in clinical trials. So, how would you compare the recruitment landscape across, for example, the United States versus Europe versus Asia?
Yeah, for example, in Asia, there are a lot of population and the disease burden. And in the different disease areas, like infectious disease are more common in these countries. But there
Mhm.
are very less number of clinical trials in these countries. So that's why it's very easy to enroll subjects from these countries. And there are a lot of patients that we can easily enroll from the different sites. And the second major reason that I identify that there is a no health insurance companies and the government funded insurance to the patients in the different countries. That's why they spent their own money to treat their diseases. So in lot of there are no advancement in the countries. So they're mainly looking for a new treatment options. So during this kind of the trial, many PI and the principal investigator of the many sites, they easily enroll subjects in these countries. But when we move to the US, to the UK and the Europe, they already every patient and the people having some insurance companies and they don't want to more interested toward the clinical trial, and it's very difficult to convince them that this treatment option is better for you. And there are lot of patients already enrolled in the different clinical trials, so there are no much treatment naive subjects for the new studies. So in that case, like insurance, like less awareness, and like already enrolled in number of subjects and very less number of the patient population for the particular disease, like rare disease and some of the disease where we are unable to find the patients. And a lot of the companies like SMO, CROs, they are doing jobs to enroll the subjects for the different trials. But if the system that like you establish a new system that which is a AI generated system, in this kind of the system, we can enroll the subjects in a very short duration of the time, and as well as it also give us a very low screen failure rate because this adaptable system, and they can match the clinical protocol eligibility criteria, so we can enroll the subjects very fastly that are particularly fall under the category of inclusion exclusion criteria of the studies.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously these cultural differences as well as the scarcity of research out in different countries versus the United States makes it, sometimes easier, as you mentioned, in these Asian countries to, recruit a lot of these patients. And another thing I wanted to ask you about, not only just the cultural difference, but the legal difference within clinical research is in Europe, accessing patient data is often restricted, right? It's often a lot
Yeah.
harder to get access to this patient data. And for a lot of these AI companies such as mine, that almost use data as they're powering the entire crux of the company is based on having access to this patient data. So do you view this tighter data precautions as a net positive or a net negative for research progress?
Yeah, definitely. If this system definitely overtake the US or over the Europe regions.
So do you view that as a good thing, or would you say that that's a bad thing overall for clinical research, that tight
Yeah,
data
it
access?
Yeah, for data access, actually, they also follow the HIPAA rules and some GDPR rules
Mm,
in the Europe region. But for the system advancement and for promotion of the clinical trials and to enroll patient faster, they
mhm.
need to make some amendments. So they need to give allow to some of the companies they can access the data and they can use these patients for their safety and for their disease interventions
Yeah,
and for the treatments. Yeah.
definitely. I think that makes a lot of sense. If there's tools out there to potentially help these patients, maybe we have to loosen up the laws. But again, at the same time, tight data security is important, and the patient should be entitled to that at the same time. So, it's a double-edged sword. And
Yeah.
I do want to kind of shift the conversation a little bit. So, for those unfamiliar, what exactly is an eCRO, and how does it differ from a traditional CRO model?
Yeah, actually, traditional CROs, they are 9 to 5 office jobs.
Hmm.
There are a lot of time consumption from the different employees. If we calculate the cumulative traveling time, their office time, and the paper-based work, there are a lot of expenditures. And when we shift to a eCRO, like we can compare similarly the paper version of ICF and electronic version of ICF. So there is a huge difference. Everything is advancing with the passage of the time. So like eCRO, we have all the systems in place. So we have a, like in smooth drug development, we have our own CTMS system. So we can paste all the patient related data, different clinical trial data, our HR record, everything on a single system. So it's easy to track, it's easy to audit. So that's why ECRO have a more flexibility. Anytime you can audit it. And if you follow the GCP, ICH GCP E6R3, so they also follow the quality by design. So in these terms, we have to advance our system.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's interesting seeing, a lot of things shift electronically, how the pros and cons of that. And then, I also wanted to ask you, more about your own experience. So, you've earned over or more than 350 certifications or worked across different functions, medical writing, et cetera. Which skills from these different certifications, or even beyond these certifications, just what skills in general, have proven most essential in helping you lead at a global scale?
Yeah, actually, if we consider, I mainly do remote working. So for my
Mhm,
remote working in the different kinds of the skills, I mainly prefer medical writing because
mhm,
I'm here based in Lahore, Pakistan. So I can write different study protocols, different ICF as per the requirement of the different IRBs. So I pitch these services as a medical writer, and I earn a lot from the different companies as well. And my different clinical study protocol, they approve by the different countries, even in the US FDA, and even the biotech companies of the Canada, Europe, and UK, even in the Singapore as well. So this service remotely, I can say that this is a very good skill that everyone should have, because I have a very good understanding of developing a study protocol as per the country requirement, as per the site requirement, and whatever the requirement of the different biotech companies for their study design. But if we consider the pharmacovigilance, but it mainly focus on country to country wise, like because we have a qualified pharmacovigilance officer for every country. So there are the different certification for these service as well. But it's a very good skill as well. But if you want to do a job remotely from the different regions, then medical writing and the regulatory submission and the approvals, it's very good to go with these kind of the skills.
It makes sense. I think, and as you know, this medical writing and as well as a lot of your other skills have led you to, be able to represent different companies at a lot of these conferences that you've been outspoken about, Bio, China, the World Vaccine Congress, et
Yeah.
cetera. So what trends or innovations that you've seen at these conferences or even beyond these conferences in the CRO space, are you most excited about right now?
Yeah, like my experience in BioChina.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of the CDMOs in BioChina. They attend this conference and they promote their new and biosimilar product to the patent who are going to expire. But we also see the different kind of the medical device related companies. They develop a different kind of devices that are easy to diagnose your disease. Or it are very good health related gadgets. So these companies are also boosting their clinical studies, even their pivotal and clinical trials, and their data, and even the lot of the AI companies are coming into this field.
Right.
So in BioChina, I see this, and in World Vaccine Congress, I also met with the different guys who were developing different games, and through
Oh,
games,
wow.
because we know that in every country and the young generation and even in the children, they are playing games. So they
100%.
develop different kind of the health related games, and they
Mhm.
promote awareness. So they also get funds and grants from the WHO and even Bill and Melinda Gates Medical Research Institute for these kind of the uh, games related to the health. So AI and health sector,
Mhm.
mainly the medical device, this is boosting in this era, and there is a gap which is a patient recruitment in this era, because FDA proposed in last November that you should enroll different patients from the different countries, not only to the US patients. So in that case of scenario, a lot of opportunities arises for those countries where previously clinical trials were not done, and for those companies who can enroll number of subjects in the rare disease area, in oncology, and the different kind of the trial, whatever the requirement of the study.
That makes sense. And I think that's really interesting. I think that you mentioning, them trying to gamify a lot of the medical information for the youth is really interesting, and I think it's exciting. And my last question I really like to end off on is for a young person trying to establish themselves in clinical research, whether that's with the site level, CRO, sponsor level, however. What would be what would advice would you share about standing out and, building credibility or even just advancing their career within this space?
Yeah, I can say that if you can start your clinic career as a CRA, as a clinical research associate, so
Mhm.
that you can know how to monitor the data, what are the system that you are going to do work on this data, how to do the patient and site feasibility and the number of subjects from each sites, how to do make due diligence of the site. So you can know all the systems. If you are a good CRA, then you can become a good business development person. You can become a very good a QA person who know the documentation of all the clinical trial, where are the different gaps, and you can identify the gaps. And you can also make a recruitment company, how you can enroll patients from the different sites. So if you are going to start a career from a CRA, you can work in the CRO industry, in the biotech companies, in a new tech and AI related companies, even in the medical device related field.
Definitely. And, thank you for that. And thank you, Cameron. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have today. This has been Let's Talk Health, powered by Vitify Health. If you're interested in learning more about Dr. Cameron Khan and his impactful work or the work we do here at Vitify Health, feel free to check us out in the links in the description. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Cameron.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.